y'all? It's your girl Drea. You're watching an episode of Make It Make Sense podcast, and we are back. We're back, and I'm so excited for today's discussion. As you guys can see, it's just me because, y'all, I just really want to dive into this. I was talking with a friend, and I've had these questions come up about basically supporting your friends. And so I just want us to make it make sense. Let's kind of talk about this together. What does that look like? Like truly supporting your friends, okay? So without further ado, let's get into today's discussion. Okay, so let's take a little moment. Okay, let's pose the question. So what does supporting your friend looks like for real? I mean, and this is like platonic. I mean, like your friend, people you've been cool with for years, whatever the case may be. They've been doing things, going into business, having children, whatever the case, getting married, whatever life event has happened. Like, how do you support or how do you properly do that? Because I feel like there's a discrepancy. Okay, I feel like in relationships typically, because you're dealing with humans, like one person tends to be more like down or supportive for the other person's endeavors than another person in the relationship. And so like I was literally having a discussion with a friend about just what that looks like. You know, everybody's going through some things in life. Everybody has something that they are preparing or working on, or that's the hope, right? So what does that really look like, you know? So y'all know me. If I'm going to talk about something, I typically have a story, okay? Or I know someone who knows somebody who knows somebody who know, okay? So follow me, okay? So I remember a time where I realized that it was more about my personality. It had nothing to do with other people, right? It was my personality. I learned about myself that I will give of my time. I will give of my treasure or like monetary, right? I will give of my emotions to a circumstance or situation. And I will be there physically. That became like more of like a people pleasing, you know, type of thing. Like it's great and all to be dependable and all of that. But I think that I was on like an extreme where I was like, okay, I knew I had 7 days in a week, y'all. Okay, your girl was like from boom, 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 boom. There was always something that, okay, I have time for this. Let me slide this in. I really should not. I really have other things that I really should be doing. But it meant so much to me to like come out and support or whatever the case may be for other people. Friends, family, what have you, right? So I learned about myself, and this is discussion. So y'all get a little comfortable. Let's kind of talk about this a little bit. Like comment below, you know, if you feeling me or if you tend to be the friend that falls in the support more of the person who tends to be more supportive or available or there for the other friend or what have you, right? And so one thing I learned about myself in this was like your girl was like exhausted. Okay, I was exhausted. And you know what I learned? When I needed, and I have great people. Let me preface this video by I have wonderful support. I have people who truly are like ride or die. Like they got me. We got each other. Like y'all, I am blessed. Okay, I am one of the people who tend to have like a community, that a rarity to have like a legitimate community that love and support me. So I want to go ahead and say that. But I've had times where I had to reflect on myself and how I support others and what that looks like, because things get real, okay? Things get real, y'all. So I remember I had something in particular that I was like, I needed. Something happened. Prime example, if you haven't checked out the last couple of podcasts, I have an episode where it talks about like grief and like how long is it to grieve, right? So this is going to tie into that a little bit. So I tend to be the person, like I said, who give them my time, my emotions, my treasure, money, monetary, right? And myself, right? I'll physically like go somewhere, whatever the case may be, or be present. So anyway, so I remember when I realized that it was more about my personality and not like being able to properly ask for the help and support that I need, right? So it was all cool for me to like go out there, be there for everybody. Yeah, I got you. You need me to run and get this? Cool. But I was like, am I showing up for me? Like, am I showing up for me? And also, do my friends know, or family, or what have you, mentors, whatever the case may be, know how to show up for me? Right? Because that's what we're talking about, support, doing life, right, together with somebody. So I remember I was like, everything was going on with my dad. He had recently passed, and I was going through all these emotions, y'all. Like, check out the podcast. It was really, really hard podcast for me to kind of talk about that. It was still fresh, but I'm glad I did it. It helped somebody. That's the prayer. But anyway, so I remember I was going through, y'all, like my nerves were just all over the place. My emotions, your girl was just everywhere. Okay. Like I didn't know up from down. And I don't think I don't remember ever being in that place. I don't remember ever being in that place where I was like, I don't really know what I want about, like, I don't know what I need. Right. And so I remember sitting there, and I had like a mentor who was kind of like walking me through the process or whatever. And she was like, have you asked like your friends and family, like, or told them what you need from them in this time? And I was like, no, I didn't ask these people. No, because I was so used to being the person who is like usually like roll with the punches, like, okay, everything, I got you. I'm like usually the one who is the extender, but I didn't know how to be the giver, the receiver, if that makes sense. I was always the giver, but I didn't really know how to be the receiver. So your girl was like really stuck. I'm like, okay, I don't know, like, I can't say that people are not supporting me in this time because I really haven't identified what need I have from them, right? And some of the things will be like, because if somebody's grieving, really, you the best thing you can give them is your time or your emotions towards them, right? Or your empathy. Like, hey, I feel for you. Like, let's talk. Do you feel like talking? And sometimes for me, because I'm a heavy processor, like, I just need somebody to just sit down in the space. So I am like processing my stuff by myself, but I don't physically feel like I'm by myself, right? So your girl was like, I really got faced with the question, like, do I have friends that support me? And of course I can answer that easily, right? Because I'm like, yeah, I have friends who support me. These are people who are calling, who's checking up on me, but in the ways that I didn't know that I needed it, that was on my part, right? Because I needed to express, yo, this is the way that I, need you to show up. Like, I don't need, like, maybe necessarily for you to bring groceries or necessarily, that's great and all. But for me, it wasn't that I needed something handed to me. I think I needed more so a listening ear, right? To kind of process all of the things or a lot of the things, not all of my things, but a lot of my things. So it really brought me to this discussion because y'all know when I be thinking about podcast episodes and things like that, like, it has to be something that is relatable, I feel like, to the general public. It has to be something that I feel like people can grow from. They can kind of keep the discussion going. Like, people, just everybody, it's a discussion, right? And so I literally was sitting back, like, thinking, like, oh my gosh, like, I need to talk to them, just me and y'all, because y'all know I'll have guests pop in and all of that on the podcast. But this particular conversation, I really wanted it to be like heavy in like the comment section. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really wanted us to kind of like talk about these things, and I want to give y'all my perspective, and later on we might add in somebody else who can like chime in on that or their perspective on like support. Like, what does it really look like to support your friend? And I think what I would say, one of the things that I pray often, I don't take it like I don't think it's coincident that God brings people in my life, right? Or that you make a connection with someone and you build friendships, and I don't take that stuff for granted. So one of my common prayers or things that like I go to God about, be like, listen, Jesus, I need you to help me be the friend that they need me to be. I know that sounds crazy. Let me break this down. Okay. So the point of the prayer is that people grow, people change. And if you are expecting to be the same way, or the person on the other side of the relationship to be the exact same way from when you guys first started to be friends, platonic or romantic, that is really naive thinking, because the truth of the matter is people grow, people change, people's perspectives shift. And so the truth of the matter is, like, you would hope and pray that you guys grow together. And the best way to grow together is watch them change, and their needs are going to shift, and to be like aware of those things. Now, I typically fall into like the more like server, like I think that I am just more of a server, more of a person who considers the other person. Doesn't help that I'm in the field of social work. Most of y'all did not know that, but I happen to be in the field of social work. So this is like my makeup to be more caring, or more apt to want to sit down and discuss somebody's emotions. Okay, so follow me here. So the reason my prayer has been, or is frequent, this is a lifestyle thing that I do often, is I'll sit down, I'll be in my prayer time, whatever the case may be, and I'm like, Lord, how do I, like, he'll bring a friend or someone on my heart, and I'm like, okay, God, like, you know them, you know the needs that they have that I wouldn't know, and it's not necessarily for me to know. How can I be the best friend that they need from me at this season in their lives, right? But what happens is, the flip side, this is the thing, that's all great and all, right? It's all grandiose when you are thinking about the other person, right? You're looking at how you could be that for a person. But the flip side in the prayer is that they are thinking and praying the same thing, right? That they could be the friend that you need for them in that season. And so why I brought that example up is because I remember in that time, or in this time of grief that I have been experiencing, is that I haven't asked the friends to, I haven't asked them, or I guess I haven't fully known what I needed in this time, or need in this time, that I haven't really told them the type of friend that I need, or the way that I want them to show up in my life in this season, right? So just in case they haven't been praying that same thing, right? That's not something to assume that everybody thinks like that. But you have to be upfront. You have to be direct about your emotions, direct about your feelings, and things of that nature. And so it really brought me to this podcast discussion, like, yo, we really need to like sit down and talk about this. Like, support, somebody can easily feel like the person is not supporting them because it's a lot of times a lack of communication, right? Or it's a lack of like that person being upfront and true to themselves about what they need or want for that person. Now, you don't want to go around relying on people to give you what you need, right? Why? No, that's not going to work, right? Because it's not realistic, and more than likely they're not going to be able to fulfill that. If it is, it's not long term, right? So, or they're going to lack things in themselves, right? So this is why I wanted us to kind of discuss it. So like comment below if you have, or if you're in this space where you're like, wow, what am I supposed to be like? Or you might feel like people are not supporting you, or supporting the things that you are working on, or that you are doing, right? So, I was trying to think about, I was going to share something, but it was personal. And I'm trying to figure out if I want to give y'all all of that. You know what I'm saying? In this podcast, because y'all be commenting. I'm like, man, I got to stay authentic and real, because these people be listening to what I say, right? But y'all know, like, I be trying not to, make things identifiable to people. But I'll just say this. I remember, outside of like the grief thing, I remember when I was doing, here's an example. So your girl graduated from college, 2019. And thank God, y'all, it was before the world started sneezing as a whole, I guess. Started going crazy. But I remember, like, I felt like school was so important for me, right? It was so important to me and for me. And let me explain the for part. Schooling, or going to college and furthering my education in the field that I am in now, was so important for me, because there was so much life happening that could have stopped me. I could have dropped out of college. When I say life, y'all, I'm not talking about no pity pat life. I'm talking about like somebody like try to run over me with a steam like a bulldozer type thing. That's what it felt like. And so I remember like something had popped off, y'all. Something popped off the day before I had a major midterm in class, right? And when I say it popped off, it was some drama, y'all. And I try to stay low from the drama, but this was something that was like I couldn't avoid, so to speak. And so I remember I was so numb. Okay, I was contemplating going to class the next morning. But I remembered that I had a midterm exam that I could not like miss. Y'all, when I tell you God is so good. So I went to that class and I don't even remember sitting in that seat, writing my name on the test document, none of that. And this was like it was like a really hard class too. I really enjoyed it. Methods of Research Design. I think it was my Methods of Research Design. It was like a stats course. I absolutely loved. But it was like one that you had to be like focused because it required a different type of math, right? Y'all, why was that like one of the best scoring like tests, like scores I had ever had? I want to say, and I say one of the best. I had a 3.5 I scored in that on that test or something like that. I think it was out of like a certain amount of points and it was like 4.0. I had a 3.5. I was only a few points away from a perfect score. Yo, I don't remember writing anything. And it required like formulas. And I don't remember if I finished I don't even think we had a cheat sheet that day. I don't think we had a cheat sheet that day. So I had to go from the top of my mind, like my brain, which I later found out that maybe it was just because I needed to kind of like take my mind off of the actual test and I'll score higher. That's my theory. But anyway, follow me with this example. I remember some drama popped off. But when I sat and I don't remember sitting in a seat. I don't remember really going to class, anything like that. I was so traumatized, y'all. I remember thinking after I got my test back how important school was for me. Like it was a outlet. It was something I was doing for myself. It was me bettering myself. So no matter like what other stuff was going on around me, like I was still bettering myself, right? And that made me feel better about circumstances and myself. Y'all see what I did there? So like I remember that. And I remember why school was important to me. So follow that. So I mean, y'all already follow me, but hear me out. Y'all, this is why I think this discussion is so important because it literally goes down, I think, to communication. And so I remember I was graduating, but it was really tough. Around the time I was graduating, I had some other stuff go down, y'all. Other stuff, okay? It's a lot. Your girl has been fighting, okay? Like, spiritually fighting. Just a lot the last couple of years. And so, and I'll talk about that in another podcast, maybe. Stay tuned. You never know. You never know you never know. But anyway, I remember it was time for me to graduate, and I had one of my professors. She was acting crazy, acting like she was going to try to change my graduation. Something was going on with the class, and I really didn't prefer her teaching style, whatever. And so we really was like meeting like weekly, okay? And it was an online course because it was like one of my heavier classes. And so anyway, the woman, she did something and it just, ooh, y'all, I was like, she is not about to get in the way of me graduating. I must graduate. Like the lady was like, just like in the Bible, he's like, I must go to Samaria. That's literally how I felt. Like I must graduate this year. And it's funny because everything transpired in 2020. And I was so glad I didn't have to do a virtual graduation. So this is what happened. It was time for me to graduate after I made it through everything else. And it was such a monumental moment for me because a lot of the people that start off with me did not end up finish with me. You know, a lot of the relationships I had, a lot of the like connections, whatever the case may be, a lot of those people, they just did not go. And that taught me something there too, like that everybody can't go with you. I be wanting people to get in my car, y'all. The car is not that big, okay? And I be wanting everybody to hop in. Like, I really want everybody to hop in. That's another topic for another day, y'all. But I remember I was getting ready to graduate, and I had a lot to reflect on. And it was just so, like, stressful. And I did not know, like, what was going to be the outcome and everything. So I remember I was graduating, and I had sent a list of, like, people to people, like, hey, I'm graduating, I would love for you to attend the graduation. We're doing like a little I don't know, reception afterwards and all of that. So I remember I sent these to some people, and that meant a lot for me, for people's presence. Like, I didn't want nothing, it wasn't no open house, so I wasn't expecting cards or anything like that. I really just wanted the person's presence, like, y'all, I made it, thank you God, right? So anyway, so I remember I had sent that out. And when I tell y'all, I cannot make this up, I was so disappointed in the amount of people that did not show up. Now, I wasn't making light of or like forgetting the fact of the people who did, but it was some people that like meant, for me, they meant a lot to me. And it was so interesting because, like, for me, that was a sign of whether that person supported me. Do you support me when I have life events, right? So, I mean, like, I haven't had any baby showers yet, no bridal showers yet, you know what I'm saying, no wedding yet, all of that. So, it was like, this is, like, what you're going to see, you know, promotions, education, graduations. Like, that's what I'm doing right now. This is the season I'm in right now. So, it means a lot for, you know, for me if this person shows up. And I had wrote that in the message and stuff. And some people I called or sent like a little invite, you know, like a hard copy invite. When I tell y'all, I had never felt like, okay, my support system looked a lot different than I thought. When I tell y'all, I was like, you know, like people be salty. Like, I ain't even go front. Your girl was salty. I was mad salty. I was like, okay, things ain't really what they appear. Things are not really what they appear. Your girl was salty. That was when I realized that support looks different for other people, right? Support, like supporting your friends, gonna look a little bit, or family. Like this, I'm talking about family, friend, platonic and romantic, right? Relationships. Like, but this is where it come in at. So yes, I felt some type of way, just being completely honest. And some of them knew. Like, I was like, listen, I ain't like the way you ain't show up for me, you know. So I was able to express that to some people. But it showed me how important, like, because I thought about, I was like, I go all the way out my way to be there for every single body, you know. Like, man, if a friend drops like a brand or something, I'm trying to buy everything on and I ain't asking for no discounts. Like, I'm trying to pay full price for all of that, you know, and I'm coming back and I'm referring people. I'm again going back to like hop in the car. Like, I want everybody to roll with me. I am not one to have something that is working for me and I feel like it's great, makes my life better, and then I just don't share it with other people. As me, is just selfish, right? Because I feel like there's more than enough for everybody to get some. That's my thought process, right? So in that moment, I realized that support looks different, right? Everybody, like, they don't know. Everybody doesn't know, first of all, the way you need to be supported or feel like you're being supported. Because, one, you probably didn't tell them. Or two, they're not really looking or actively trying to be that, right? And so that you make your decision, or you decide how you want to set them up in your relationship bubble or whatever, how you want to navigate that when you find out what it is about after you've communicated how you wanted to be supported. Key point: communicate first. Can't expect people to know stuff if you don't tell them. So anyway, so that's when I learned after that life event, like, okay. Some people wanted to be there and they couldn't. And they would say that, like, hey, I wish I could be there for you, or I wanted to be there if something came up, whatever. But some people probably just saw the invite and it was like, I ain't gonna make it. I don't want to make it. Whatever. That's neither here nor there. Only God knows. But I learned a lot about support. And then I had a moment where I was just like, I ain't about to be supporting everybody and they don't do that. And then I realized how immature that is, because that's like saying, I'm going to alter my natural response to you, right? Because you did something to me, like the tit for tat, like, oh, because you didn't show up like I wanted you to, then I'm not going to show up like with the way, you need me to. That's not a friendship if we're both trying to hurt each other, right? That's not a relationship. That's not a, dating relationship. That's not a, friendship, platonic, friends, whatever relationship. If it's tit for tat, not going to work. And so I really wanted to open this discussion. I feel like there's so many parts of this thing. I can go into some other stuff or whatever the case may be. But I really want to open it up, like, to the comment section, y'all. Because I feel like, and then if you guys want, like, a perspective on this, like, let me know. Like, if you guys say, hey, we want a male's perspective on this, or we want somebody else to give us an example, or we want to hear more about this, blah, 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 then I want you all to just, like, comment below in the comment section what you guys are, like, feeling about this, what's your thoughts. I'm leaving it a cliffhanger on purpose. So as y'all can tell, I'm getting ready to wrap up this podcast because I want you guys kind of like sit, listen to this, comment, have a discussion in the comment section back and forth. And also, like, let me know what you guys want to see. What are some questions that you guys are like, make it make sense, make it make sense to me, right? Or, I'm just discussing things. So, like, my hope is that it makes sense, but I'm not here with all the answers. So just kind of, let me know. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. And let me know in the comment section if you have your bell notification turned on. Because, y'all, the bell notification gang is like, y'all the truth. Meaning that y'all was like, listen, I got to catch the drop. So I want to know. I want this notification to come straight to my phone. That Drea is back on the podcast, or there's another episode. So shout out to you all. Make sure you guys put that in the comment section, like hashtag bell notification gang. And then, just let me know. Open the conversation up. Like I said, I was talking with a friend about this and things like that, and what that looks like and support. And so I hope you all enjoyed the video. I love talking to you all. Stay tuned for next week. Have some exciting things, another amazing topic. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Thumbs up the channel. Hit the bell notification and comment below what you all are, your thoughts. All right, that's it for this week's episode podcast. Make it make sense. And it made sense to me. I hope it made sense to y'all. And I will see you all in the next episode.